The Neo60 Core. I didn't even know we were going to be covering this, to be completely honest with you guys. But just to kind of go over some stuff before we even open this, this is going to be a unibody case design with an ultra slim side bezel, which I am like, that is my thing, thin side bezels. I already know visually I'm probably going to really like this case. It's very simple. It kind of does take some of the, looks from the other boards that they've made, but it's going to be a PCB gasket mount or an O-ring mount. All right, so that's pretty cool. To me, it's technically a dual mounting style. They're kind of touting they have a very convenient way to build this board, which is called a lock and pull mechanism plus magnetic connectors. Essentially what that means, I'll show you guys, is it's taking a plate fork, you put it in, you twist it, and you can pull it out. So, it's convenient though, I'll say that much. And then the price point of this board is pretty crazy as well. It starts at $79, which is pretty nice. It has tons of different colors, I think just as much as the other boards did. Tons of different weight options as well. We have a black weight, a silver weight, gold, copper, silver, a PVD gold, I guess, and a mirror finish gold, and a dusk, which is that multicolored one. So I don't actually know what's inside this. We have some stabs. I'm guessing this is just like the accessories box. So they sent us plastic plate, aluminum plate, and another plastic plate. I think this is navy. Alex's fave color. It almost looks like a teal. Oh, this is teal. Yeah, you're right. This is teal. Is this close to what they're showing on the website here? The website color definitely seems a bit more pungent. But yeah, this is definitely not the navy. This is most likely the teal. It is nice though. The framing of this is gorgeous. Those extremely thin side bezels are doing it for me. This small, ever so slight cherry lip on the front is also, I'm loving that. I think that looks really good. Very simple side profile. Again, unibody design, we like that. Very unicorn-inspired bottom weight, as we kind of talked about the other day. And then we got that like compass logo that they've been using on their lineup. And again, anno quality looks super good here. We don't have any of those like little weird issues with gaps because this is one piece. It's pretty hefty. When you compare it to their other lineup, when you compare it to the CU still gets the same treatment of the frame. Like it's primarily the same kind of look here, but the CU has the prettier side profile. So you can tell more machining went into this, and this is why they can justify the price of this a little bit lower. Also, this is one piece. So the CU definitely, it destroys this in terms of looks for me. Like this is a much more elegant looking keyboard. However, I do prefer the feet on the Core model. I think the Core model has better feet placement. All right, so actually let's double check. What would the price point of this now be? If we got the anodized teal and I guess this is considered the golden weight. And then wired hot swap as well as aluminum plate. So still 109, not bad. Not bad at all. And then for the hot swap PCB, again, very, very pleasantly surprised with what Neo's doing here. Lots and lots of options. In fact, we even have ISO, don't we? We do have ISO. Now we have to double check if the plate supports that. It does. Lots of options. All things considered, this is a killer PCB with tons of options. I love to see that. I do like the little cover they have for the daughter board over here too. That's quite nice. The weight peeking through is kind of cool on the inside. I would have loved to see them do that stepped internal design that they have done on every other board they've done so far. I'm kind of shocked they didn't. I don't know how much machine time that would have added and how many more passes you would realistically need to do, but I am shocked that's not in there. Maybe for good reason though, we'll see. Well, this weight here is the golden weight, so let's see what this actually consists of. Is the golden weight just aluminum? Doesn't really show anything. I'm pretty sure it's just aluminum though. Interesting board though. I'm really excited to see how this is going to sound. I think this is going to be a super big competition for the Agar, and then for basically anything O-ring. If this kind of hits, then this is going to be big competition for just about every O-ring board. because I don't know if anything is competitive enough to even tackle the price point to this. But obviously you can like something different for different aesthetics and, you know, lore of keyboards and stuff like that. Does this have the stainless steel filler weights on where the batteries would go? It's very heavy, so I'm assuming it does. We'll take it apart here afterwards once I finish the PCB assembly. I lubed up another batch of MX2As. Excited to put these in. Can't go wrong with an O-ring MX2A build, you know? Can't really go wrong. It's the classic. Plus we know how these switches sound. It's a good little test bench, if you want to call it that. I love pogo pins done right. Yeah, and it doesn't look like this is going to be one that has a hard spot or some sort of weird resonance. It's springy, which means they did it well. Not a hard implementation, but always nice to see when people implement it correctly. Do you film your MX2As or no? I pretty much always use 0.15 millimeters, but I've noticed recently there's too much. I typically use foam films. The reason why is because they compress better. All right, I want to see what's inside this. This is already assembled. This is the hot swap unit, so this was really easy to assemble. Didn't take us much time at all. But I actually want to explore inside this to see what we got in here. I'm pretty positive we have those stainless steel inserts, but we'll see. Stainless steel weights. And there's the pogo pin connector kind of sitting on the ribbon cable, which gives it that little bit of bounciness to it. Very nice. I'm shocked that they haven't offered this machining pattern on the bottom weight yet. I'm shocked. Like, would you guys pick this finish versus the like multicolored finish? All right. So now that we've seen that, so now we get to pick how we're gonna mount this. And I'm almost 90%, I'm almost 90% positive we're just gonna use the O-ring. Because I don't know if they're touting this as just for plateless, but I have a feeling we're gonna like the O-ring a little bit more. Yeah, the gaskets work for plateless, which is cool. Do the bags still suck? I mean, I think they're the same old bags, so maybe a little bit. And that is pretty much how this assembles. This is probably the easiest of all the QWERTY keys boards to build, like, ever. Which is crazy. But we are going to get some keycaps. I think I do want to move over Norse. Again, nothing out of this world. It's simple, but it works. The side bezels being this small and this thin really give this an air of almost more premiumness to me. Like, if you had given this to me, I would have said, yeah, maybe a $200 board. All right. We're going to try this, and then we're going to just figure out where this kind of stands with the rest of the boards for me. So let's give this a quick little typing test here, shall we, guys? So MX2As lubed with GS2, filmed, spring swapped to 53.5 gram springs. On aluminum, O-ring mounted, no foam, and the Neo60 Core unit. All right, so let's try the gasket variant as well. I like this way more. The O-ring's good on this. Like, don't get me wrong, the O-ring sounded great. I think the gaskets sound way better in this. Damn. Is it 30? Maybe that's why. Oh, yeah. 30. I'm gonna try something. Hold on. Stick with me, guys. I have a lot of O-rings. This is the stock one. I'm going to put this to the side. Yeah, I don't know what they all are, but I'll just kind of go by feeling here. This is too big. Let's try a bit of a firmer O-ring, because typically, and this, I thought this felt a little firmer, but I am way off. Typically, I like 70 plus durometer O-rings for my boards. I think light O-rings make a board, for an O-ring mounted board, sound really weak. Yeah, like to me, that's already a pretty big difference. Neo60 CU starts at about 165. All right, now technically this starts at even lower, but we'll just compare this to, and let's just pick the copper weight for the 60, because I feel like a lot of people get that. Let's pick anodized teal as well for the 60 CU, and let's also pick a hot swap PCB as well as an aluminum plate. Let's just say we got that. So now that makes this board 195 versus 110. I like the Core better. I just think what this has going for it, whether it was by choice or not, maybe it was, you know, some circumstances that led to the feet being a little bit more compressed into the case and all that jazz. I feel like this is the better board. Looks-wise, I think this doesn't hold a candle to the CU. I love the side profile of the CU. You still get slim side bezels. It's roughly the same shape. The CU has the looks going for it. And if you like copper, like if you want the premium stuff, well, maybe not this one. Whatever. We'll use this one here. It's all fingerprints. They're both fingerprints. If you like the premium look of this one, maybe this is the way to go. I do think this has just enough weight if you get the stainless steel inserts. Final thoughts with this board. Love the basics of this. This is well done for just being a basic board. Love the side bezels. Visually, there's not a whole hell of a lot going on with it other than the side bezels. The weight's nice. It's okay. Like, it's nothing out there. It definitely looks very unicorn inspired. The feet, I think a lot of people are going to think the feet are hit and miss because they're kind of rounded. I like them. I think they're kind of cool. They work well. They make the board still function fine. The internal stainless steel weights are great. Nice little touch to this particular model anyways. Remember, if you go with wireless, you're not going to get those. You get foam inserts, you get batteries instead. I think the only thing in which I can say this might be a miss on, the only thing, and this is even preference-based, the stock O-ring, I would have liked, I think 30 is even very light for the standard O-ring. I think if they would have went with a 50 durometer or 50A O-ring, that would have been a much safer choice for everyone. But yeah, because the standard usually is 50. You're right on that, oh honey. So I'm a little not turned off by the fact, like, I wouldn't use the 30 myself. It did sound fine. Like, we didn't dislike the sound. But there is a noticeably better sound. Like, it just sounds fuller and a little bit more refined with using a heavier O-ring. Now, with that being said, the gaskets included with this, because this is a dual mounting system. You can pick one or the other. The gaskets worked great. And I think a lot of people end up probably using the gaskets if they like the stuff that I like. But bit of a weird choice to go with 30. I would have definitely liked to see 50. And then I've also, maybe missed opportunity. I don't know if they wanted to, but why not even list like a 50 and a 70 as extras that you could have purchased as well? For like an extra, I don't know, they could even charge $5-10 for them. I'm sure people would have bought them. Thank you guys. Really appreciate you guys even just tuning in today to hang out to watch the 60 Core build. Love you. Talk to you guys very, very soon. I'll have a write-up on the Core in hopefully the next like week, I'd say. But until then, guys, love you. Thanks for being here. And thanks for stopping by. Bye, everybody. See ya.